Listener warning. Everything about this podcast is offensive and often stupid. Live from the Twin Towers of Guys, Games, and Beers basement. It's the best damn podcast there ever was. Guys, Games, and Beer! Yay! Okay, we got important topics covered today.
Great topics tonight.
Namely this beer.
Oh, well, this beer's a good one to cover too, because today is Fat Tuesday, guys.
Yay!
Yay!
Not Catholic!
So in honor of Fat Tuesday, we are going to do a New Orleans based beer. This is something called Andy Gator.
Your beer's
Hell's,
bubbling.
Suck your foam, dude!
I did that. I fell all over.
Hell's Doppelbock. It's an old brewery by the looks of it. Founded in no, not that old. It's 1986. That's pretty good for
It just has black and white pictures.
for that. But I mean, 1986 for a craft brew is not bad. So, but they are based right out of where are they based out of again?
That one place.
New Orleans.
So like all their
You just said it.
Lagers,
The giant Mardi Gras city.
and a bit of Springs. They're based. They use a bit of Springs water. Evidently, that's why they get the other name for the beer, which is Abita, which is the actual brewing company.
Sorry.
Or they get it from the name of the town they're in.
Well, there's like the natural spring or something that they use for the
So it's a town named after the spring, and the water is named after this town that the spring is located.
something like that. So, so this is a Hell's Doppelbock. Let's give it a try.
Turkey cat jerky.
Ooh.
You know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Kind of
Is it worth
tasty.
the $12?
Yeah, it was not a cheap beer, but
That's
I'm
a pretty
thinking,
delicious beer.
I'm thinking that's a pretty damn delicious
Nice, middle of the road.
And 8% alcohol by volume. So
Wow, really?
It's got a kick!
beer. You don't
Got a lot of
taste the
flavors
kick.
to it.
No.
Got a lot of flavors to it.
Yeah,
It's very rich. It's good though.
Yeah,
it's very, very rich.
that's a darn
Yeah,
good
it's
beer.
This is like the chocolate cheesecake.
Almost
of
in
beers.
line on like a good
Really
like
quite
German
good.
style beer, almost.
Yeah,
I
where
think
that
there's a
rich
pretty good
flavor
chance you could
is
get this
masking the alcohol.
most places. I have seen this company
You can't taste the bitterness of the alcohol.
in New York, and in Ohio, and then now you bought it in
Well, I mean, they've been
Wisconsin,
around
so.
since the 80s. So,
Yeah,
I mean, they gotta be doing something
they
right.
don't- something
sometimes they don't always get the reach.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but it looks like they do. So that's really good. It's got a little hoppiness. You can taste a little hoppiness in there. It's got a little sweetness. Almost a
And then a better
chocolatey.
finish.
Yeah.
And then
I
you get that better
could
finish.
cook this with maybe a Cajun shrimp.
Well, oddly enough, funny you should say that.
Is there a recipe?
But they literally mentioned goes great with shrimp. Like you said,
Wow.
it would be good with a Cajun shrimp. Yes.
That
All
would
right.
be really good.
What do you think, guys?
What about some
I'm
dirty
down.
rice?
After last week's
So
emergency.
everybody likes
Yeah, I just read that last week.
I say everybody likes their beer, so nobody needs me to finish it.
Yeah, nobody's going to need to finish this one, I'm afraid.
Andy Gator.
So yeah,
Okay.
Tastes great.
Good.
Gets you drunk.
yeah,
I like it.
8%. It's gonna
Does
get
not
you.
work.
I would shake Andy Gator's hand. Or
I'd shake his weenie.
They have it'd be really hard to get kind of
You
reach
would
up
put
in
your
there.
P in its V?
I'm
Yeah,
willing to put on
I-
effort.
Okay,
Just
all
wait,
right.
don't Gators have
Like
two
Gator?
of them?
No. Alright, anyway.
No, you think
Anyway.
it's
Oh no, they're twisty tied. No, that's pigs.
Whoa, stop! All right, so
Tail,
what is
isn't it?
Let's get off of penises. Let's get off of penises. Let's Ben get off. Ben, get
Phrasing,
off of
Tom.
Nope.
Phrasing.
No.
Phrasing, Tom.
Before the show even
Ben, get off of
started, he
penises.
was on the topic.
I know. All right, so what is our
I'm
real
always on
topic
top.
tonight?
Our first topic for the night is old games and systems. Can they still be fun? Or is it a bunch of overblown bullcrap? This idea came to me, number one, because of my changed Atari playing habits over the years. And number two, I can't remember the second. What the hell?
You
I
were
had
sitting
it a
on the
second
can,
ago.
dude. Just thinking about
Should I
video
just
games.
go into the restroom and
Yeah, just sitting
maybe if I
about
can
video
recreate
games.
the moment? It's the market. The video game market has been starting to. The retro gaming market is starting to
Decline.
Fall down
yeah,
again?
decline
It's
a
a
little
good
bit.
thing.
Yeah,
Which is a good thing for us
It
who've
is.
been in there for a long time.
Yeah, and we'll
plan to
stay in there. Exactly it.
Wait,
Phrasing!
it's a
People
good thing
people
it's
realized they
going
couldn't
on?
make
Except
money
for the
off of it.
Vectrex market.
They
Yeah,
realized they couldn't make good money off of it, and they were like, so now
it does
So
take like a
you're
basement
saying
full.
that there was a false market based on
it was a bubble.
finding the treasure.
Yeah,
And-
everybody thought they had valuable shit, and it was like, no.
Yeah, no.
There's a
Can't
lot
really-
of crazy crap out there. I mean, Atari 2600s for like $500. Not even a heavy sixer, folks. I mean, unless it's autographed by Billy Mitchell.
But it seems to me, I mean, there's always going to be
I just think that
That's
some of
always
those
gonna be
games that are ones that are that's always going to be happening.
Yeah.
There are
But,
real
but there are ones that it seems like people just go back to time and time again, all the time.
Well, yeah,
You
and,
know,
the problem
and-
again, and even today I saw an N64 for $100. It's like, really? Who's going to pay $100 for an N64?
That's
They're-
when
they're
you
running
first
that
bought
risk,
it. It was
though.
$100.
Well,
They're
Wait
thinking
a
that
minute,
maybe there's that one dude out there
Who's stupid?
who's stupid enough to buy it for $100. Next week, he's probably gonna post it for $50.
but cost aside, I guess the question is, can old games be fun?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think there's clear that there's certain games that have staying power that have been around, and I think they're reflected in their price, so you can
No,
But not always.
Yeah, no,
Not always.
I was
Sometimes
gonna say,
there's
you
just
can
so
buy a
many
lot of
out
old.
there.
Right, exactly. Let's go back to Polar Rescue. Sucky game, worth a fucking fortune because it sucked so
Yeah.
bad nobody bought it.
Well, yeah, I mean, again, that's supply versus demand. That's a different type of rarity, or like why something's expensive.
Right.
But I mean, obviously, you have games that were very common, the Zeldas and shit.
Yeah,
like that,
that's the one I'm
mass
thinking,
produced.
Zelda, I
but
think.
everybody wants a copy, so
Yes.
there's less to sell around. I had this really interesting thing that I kind of heard is basically like when it came to like collecting and stuff. Like I understand why a lot of people, for a lot of them, like the first things like that Nintendo era, the mid '80s. Basically, I think there is definitely two parts to like, oh hey, this retro game is fun. There's the nostalgic factor, like this is something you remember playing when you were a kid, or something you tie to a specific memory, or something you really enjoyed at that time, or it's kind of like a review piece. And I think a lot of it has to do, and I know this is kind of a weird point to make, but with graphics. And I think that as technology progressed along, progressing from when you had a simple, very little sprite, when you were like just a dot going around a dungeon, to actual pixels that had a character or something you could attach feelings to storylines in the early Final Fantasy games, to as things kind of progressed, games kind of took on more and more things that connected us as humans to digital things like storyline and characters with.
Well, I mean, Zelda would be an example.
And an emotional reaction to those games
Yeah.
because of that.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it, a lot of the people have emotional reaction to older games, the Ataris, the Vectrexes, and things like that. But I think it was more of external things, like I was a child at this time, and this is the first system I got, rather than the game itself.
Okay, I don't think that's the case. I think there are games that you play that are still just as fun as when they came out, not because of the
You know
retro.
what I think? Go ahead.
No, continue.
Well, I think a game that was well written to begin with, had good mechanics and control to begin with, is going to see a long life of fun.
Playability.
Yeah.
Where it's just
you're
as
gonna go
playable
back
today
and
as
play
it was
it
back
and play
then.
it
I'm
and
not
play it.
saying that there aren't games out there, but I mean like. Again, the game can be very simple and have great mechanics and be very popular. Like, I mean, think about like games like Angry Birds, Doodle Jump, things like that. There were games that got a lot of people hooked, but they were stupid freaking Flappy Bird. Come on, I mean, like there were games that had very
Game
simple
ever.
mechanics.
I love that damn game.
But I mean, they definitely had something that really really tied to people, and there's a lot to be said with a game that's really easy to pick up. But I think that games really and I don't think those kind of games like draw back nearly as much as something that has a little more complexity to it.
Well, see, now that's
Definitely
interesting,
not,
though, because that does bring up the point. So, what brings it back to a game? Is it the mechanics, the gameplay itself, or is it the emotional attachment to that game? So, what are you going back for? Are you going back for, like you're saying,
Well, I mean,
the emotional?
I think a game needs good mechanics to be even playable and like something that you want to trek through or anything like that. And I think over time that builds into something that you kind of emotionally start to attach yourself to.
See, I guess I understand that element, but I really think something that's well done will still be fun. Now, we've talked a lot about Vectrexes.
Yes.
I never owned a Vectrex. I don't have an attachment to a Vectrex, in the past. But I've played it, and and I enjoy it a lot, and it's something I can go to and play, and it's the Minesweeper I play all the time. And it's just a really fun, quick hitting game that I really just enjoy. But I didn't have that nostalgia or anything.
It had nothing to do with nostalgia. You played for the game.
I'm gonna have to say most of us are outliers in the way that we choose games, though. Like, if you think about how like a regular person chooses like a game versus how like a collector or somebody who like appreciates like a little more history about things. I mean, there's some people who are more adventurous than others when it comes to choosing games. But like, I don't see a lot of outside people outside of you got to know the Vectrex because other people you knew had a Vectrex. Like, you got to see it, you got to play it. You can realize those things are fun and appreciate them. But if you think about it, the Vectrex people they're very smaller community.
Oof,
like you don't see a lot of people outside the Vectrex community like, oh hey, yeah, I know about this thing, it's cool. It's either, oh yeah, I know this thing, I love it, I have one, or you don't know it at all.
Yeah, what is this weird black box thing?
Yeah.
That's true. That's very true.
I think you're I like with Atari. Well, I've been playing Atari since the Atari was the king of home gaming, but my patterns have changed. I don't really play for nostalgia very much. Honestly, there's not games I'm very nostalgic about. I don't have time. Honestly, in my gaming life, I don't have time to relive anything that I don't absolutely love for the sake of the game. And what I have found though is an Atari game, which used to take my whole day. I'd spend a whole day playing Atari. I'm not going to do that. On the outside, I will spend an hour on something that's really interesting to me on the Atari. Spider Fighter. I'll knock out an hour on that every once in a while. I'll just come down here and
I was thinking like
kick its ass for a while just to say, hey, boys still got it. And then I'll hey, Joe, come here, play this game. I'll fuck them all up, and then I'll laugh. and then it'll like basically pummel me and everything else for the rest of the night, but I can feel good about that one thing.
Yeah.
I say that
Hour of
one
warm-up,
game
I'll
is when
whoop
you
your
can
butt.
like demolish them and be like, yeah, I'm the boss.
Yeah, like Outlaw, man. Just be like, ha ha, one button, bitch. Yeah.
See, I have that thing too, but like, or my dad did with like Mario Golf, but then I got really good at it. I used to play it all the time.
Yeah, like the training montage going, like he's gonna get better to like fucking beat the champ and like.
Yeah, my dad. Yeah, basically it was just like I'm gonna beat him one day, and then like I did, and he got really pissed off when we were playing Mario Golf one day.
Mother effer.
Which is a good thing.
Exactly. He was like,
That's
son
what kids
of
do,
a
though. You guys are a
bitch."
bunch of little bastards. But,
No, like there was times that, like I had a PS3 at that time, and like I had the big like whole game set up in my bedroom back when I was living at my parents' house, and like I had the Nintendo set up, so I'd pop it in and just play it a little bit, and then it was just like, man, I forgot how fun this game was. I'm gonna keep going.
from the parents' point of view, you're sitting there at work making money so your kid can sit there to kick your ass at a game you love. But anyway, that's how the parents look at it. It's like, you little bastards.
I hope he's listening to this. That would
You
be
little
hilarious.
bastard.
Nah,
He'd be
he's
sitting at the
sleeping.
door like, oh yes, that's what my dad really thinks of me.
No, I completely said that several times.
But so there are different reasons to go back and play a game.
Yeah, I think the NES though. I think once you get to the NES, the mechanics of it can just link you on into a little bit longer of a game session.
Mario 3.
Oh yeah, you can
yeah,
spend,
I have
a good afternoon on that.
And again,
Yeah,
I didn't own an NES.
Did you use
so
whistles?
like you, I came to that later. I love Mario 3. I'm sorry, it's fucking awesome.
It's hard as balls.
Yeah, that's what's awesome about it.
But
The
it's
game
Mario
mechanics
2
are
guy,
good.
but
Well, there's just two
The
game
Japanese
mechanics.
version
You're either
doesn't
running
say.
or you're jumping.
Yes, but
And you should have been jumping when you were running.
but
or you should
but that's a really good classic game that I think you can play as well
Yeah.
today as you could when it first came out in, what was that, 89?
Yep, I think so.
When it was after when the Wizard showcased it, the movie The Wizard, because that's when they introduced Mario 3 as the final game.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
it
you have to
was.
play with the game glove.
Oh yeah.
Power glove. Yeah, you have the power glove out.
Yeah.
you'll kick ass.
But
That's when they were introducing two products.
I'm gonna tell you right now, that game still holds up today as well as it did when it first came out.
It looks,
I really do.
It looks fucking fantastic too.
It does. You're right. You know something else? Graphically, it really doesn't look all that.
It has
bad.
not aged bad at all.
No. Oh no, that's an interesting
I really
thing.
like
Do
it.
video games age?
Yeah.
I really like
and like
two.
Kravitz said earlier, graphic-wise, some that
wasn't
there's
even
big development
really
graphics.
a Mario
So,
game, in
some
the
games
US.
are designed that they don't graphically they don't age well. When they didn't do a really good job on the graphics to start with, and you can really notice it as the game gets older, especially early polygon games.
I think-
they really age badly.
I think games that depended.
PlayStation 1 era.
I think if a game depends on its
first
yeah,
graphics.
block, square,
Battle
polygon
Royale
heads.
Shinden, fucking.
No, I-
But
Tobal,
yet,
Tekken
Final
was
Fantasy
blocky
VII.
shit.
Yeah, but that had better polygons.
And again, that wasn't necessarily about the graphics. There was story, there were characters, people got deeply involved.
Also, there was
with.
FMVs there,
That's
so yeah.
Yeah.
I think
that's
if a
what I'm
game
saying,
depends on the graphics. I think if a game is shallow but depends on the graphics, it does well at that time. Like take games like I'm gonna get it for this one, Defender of the Crown. There's not a whole lot of depth to that game.
No.
And it's done better in the future with better graphics. So there's not a good reason to come back to a game like Defender of the Crown. It looked great
when it came out.
Yeah, it was beautiful. It was like the most gorgeous game on the
depth
block.
of the game
but
sucked.
yeah, it just wasn't there. It was a neat game. It had some neat hooks, but
There were a lot of games at that time that had that.
yeah, just didn't. It doesn't pull you. Even
The Three Stooges.
Three Stooges.
Yeah. Great
but
graphics.
you take a game
that
like
game-
Food Fight that just does not look that great. But
Fight is the
that
best.
that game is epic. That's another one that I still come down and play every once in a while. I'll just bust down
Okay,
here. I'm
wait a
like,
minute, what
I gotta
system-
try a new controller
What
with that
system do
one.
you play it on?
I played on the 7800.
All right,
Yeah.
all right.
Or what about Burger Time too?
Burger Time's really
Burger
good too.
Time.
Thank you, that's
Especially
another
if you
good
got a
one.
decent
That-
version.
Well, the
The ColecoVision
Yeah,
version was
that
absolutely phenomenal.
and the game was like it was not as easy as people think.
No, it's a tough action.
No, and that one, sort of despite what I said already, had actually poor controls because it had no slip on the. You had to be straight.
Yeah. If you weren't right under that ladder, you were not going up to the next level. No, that's a good point.
There was no
Unlike
assist there.
the original Donkey. I'm sorry, the original
Yeah, but the thing,
Donkey Kong.
But-
You could kind of be
But
under the ladder one way or the other.
Yeah,
You're fine.
you like
No.
your character kind of grab.
Yeah, but Burger Time, Burger Time, man, if you were not right centered on that ladder, you weren't going
Or
up.
if you weren't all the way up
But the
it.
interesting aspect was it actually added weight because if you actually had like more hot dogs or eggs or like whatever the hell those things were on there, they would actually weigh like
Pickles.
the bun, pickles.
Yeah.
They would weigh down the bun and everything like that, so it would go further down and knock each. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was an injury that like it's like whoa, they thought about that way back then. All right,
No,
cool.
but that was good game mechanics.
Yeah.
The graphics were designed fairly well for the time, and they still play well today. That would
I
be
think
that would
the
be another
graphics on
game.
it are actually pretty decent in
Yeah.
some ways.
On some systems, it sucked on them. No, that goes
It was
back
like
down.
It was
Pac-Man.
dependent on control.
I primarily
Very
think of the
dependent.
arcade version, and I
Yeah.
think it was
No,
pretty
I'm
nice.
talking the home version. There were some good home versions of it. The 2600 version was not that particularly
No.
good. It actually sucked pretty bad.
It controlled okay though. It did
yeah.
have that going. For
Yeah,
it.
but
yeah,
yeah,
whatever.
visually, the ColecoVision version was good. I don't think I've ever played the Intellivision version.
I've got it around there.
So
It's-
it was like on
it's
every
okay.
system. That was the other thing about it.
Most games are really unplayable on
The
the
Game Boy
dude.
had a sweet version of it.
See, exactly. It was on pretty much on every system. So
In fact, I got
All right.
rid of my Game Boy, but then I still had the
Burger Time cartridge.
So then I got a Super Game Boy so I could play it.
God, I love that thing. It's
Game
so,
Boy?
oh God, it's so good. It was such a good little thing for your Super
They
Nintendo.
had
Workout right
so
now,
many
Mike?
good games.
Yeah, they did actually. They really
Dude,
did.
I haven't even touched
Pokemon?
him.
You kidding me? Pokemon on that shit? I can play Pokemon on my TV with the
Okay,
little
now
size.
wait a minute. There's another classic example of a game that came out forever ago and still
Oh my
plays
gosh, I know.
just as well today as it
20
did
years
then.
ago.
Yeah.
Over 20 years
Over
ago.
20 years ago. And I think you can pretty much pick up any of the Pokemon cartridges, even the early ones from the Game Boy era, and they still play just fine.
What
Yeah,
about the
I mean, I don't
battery
think there's any
replacement,
dispute
though?
on that. I don't, yeah.
About what?
Well,
Battery replacement.
Well, just go play it on your
old one.
Retron 5. It doesn't
The
care.
old
It'll
ones,
save it on
if the
itself.
battery dies, then you don't get to save
You
it
know,
on it anymore.
yeah, we just
Yeah.
change the battery out.
It's just resoldering. Not a
Yeah,
big deal.
it's, again,
For somebody who's not, again, like Travis said, we're the outliers. For
is
someone
that?
who's not gonna be like, yeah, I'm gonna bust this thing open on the side of this, on the side of this, on the
viewers,
side of
yeah,
this,
yeah.
And obviously,
we're doing
it's
pretty good actually.
I
Right
mean,
now.
since retro gaming is as popular as it is, I mean, it might be on a little bit of a decline, but it's still really popular. Obviously, these are games that people are buying and still playing. I mean,
Hell,
there's no
there's
doubt about
there's
it.
still systems that are on my I want list that I still want, you know, that I'm looking for. Probably at Midwest Gaming Classic.
We're gonna be going crazy on
What?
that.
Yo.
NGC.
Oh yeah.
This is getting off topic. This is sliding off topic, but yeah, man.
You can't not
My
talk
right
about
cheek is
NGC.
off this
You can't,
chair.
you can.
They get all of the shoutouts.
Yeah, the MGC gets all our love. Trust me, they really get all
You
our
can
love.
fill
And the best
all our
part, they
holes.
love us back.
I know, and that's
I
why we
know.
love them. It's not an unrequited love with them like every other fucking con.
It's a straight pure 69 of love.
No issues there. I got no issues there. Yeah, at least they reciprocate.
Yeah.
All right.
I love this show.
Platonically 69ing us.
I'm good with that.
Yeah. Rack your brain with
don't
that.
think about it too hard.
Is that like a Disney
Don't
thing?
think about it too
Yeah,
like
dude,
puppet
there's like
people?
birds and shit.
hard. Anywho.
Okay,
I
anyway.
don't think so. I think in general, I don't think
General.
when a game came out, doesn't necessarily preclude its funness.
In the future, yeah. I think
I mean, and I'm gonna extend it because I gotta tell you, when I first saw this topic come out, I actually really just focused in on video games. But of course, you went a different direction.
I did.
And I started thinking about that too. And there's plenty of games in the board game world that are the same way. Where
well, that is actually almost
know.
the standard in the board game world.
There
is classics that have been out since the dawn of time that still play in the board game world.
And they're
Well,
still
there's
fun.
nothing wrong with that. That is
And there's
That
some
is-
that are
But
terrible
I
that are
feel
still on the market.
I feel that's going to be the same in the video game world. The video game world may not have been around as long, but I think you're going to find these classics that people will always come back to.
Well,
I can see game
and
mechanics
you know how
being
you can tell
recycled.
that? They're fucking re-releasing them on every console platform in the sun. Square Enix just put out Final Fantasy IX for Android. You had Final Fantasy Tactics for iOS and Android. You can get virtual stuff on Nintendo consoles from things past. Obviously,
even
it's very
PlayStation-
popular and it's good business for those companies to re-release it.
No,
right, because
even PlayStation
all the
now.
development is done. You're basically
Yeah.
you don't own the license. You buy a little licensing, and you're good to go, and you can start selling it again.
PlayStation Now does that with
PlayStation's a little bit better with their licensing, though. You don't need to buy it on each new damn console. But anyway,
Yeah.
I gotta start this.
Yeah, but they're like
Wait.
releasing the old Crash Bandicoot and stuff
Xbox,
like that,
which is
PlayStation
great.
Now and stuff like that.
Yeah, they have started bringing, like, some of my 360 games are now.
I know, and that's I actually I've talked a few times about not playing my Xbox. Well, now the Ticket to Ride has moved from the 360 to.
He's moving up.
So I use my video game system to play a board game. That's what.
Yeah.
So that's nice. But hey, it's getting used.
Did you get the Rare Collection? For the
I bought
Xbox
everything
One?
there was for the.
No, the Xbox
No,
One.
the
I went
Xbox
with
One
the
Rare Collection for
Legendary
$30.
It is really, really
It's
a
like,
steal.
how many games you get?
You get
A
like
lot. 30,
a lot
I
of
think.
games.
30.
Yeah,
Anyway,
right.
I've been playing the hell out of it.
Banjo Kazooie.
Hell no, jetpacks on that bitch.
Yeah.
Just jump on jetpack and play it
You get
all damn day.
all of these really great Rare games.
Sorry, I'm okay.
And
now.
you're not have to worry about.
normally stuff you wouldn't be able to play on an Xbox or a Microsoft console. So
What do you mean Rare? The company,
Rare the
Yeah,
company,
Rare, yeah.
Oh yeah, all right, I'll
Warriors.
check that out.
Yeah,
So good.
back then when they were working with Nintendo and dominating.
And it's just called
Yeah.
what? Rarity Pack.
No, Rare.
The Rare
Just called
Collection.
Rare
The
Collection.
The Rare Collection. Yeah.
Yeah, everything but their Nintendo stuff, because, pricks.
Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, they still had. I mean,
Bastards.
yeah, not the Nintendo
And-
IP stuff, but I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, Banjo Kazooie.
But a lot of great stuff's out there,
And
yeah.
that's now.
No, there's no question. If there,
Now we would go back and
If
play
there's any-
Donkey Kong. Yes.
no, if there's
Country.
any question in your mind
Donkey
about
Kong
the
Country-
Rare
okay,
Collection,
that's
just
another-
get it.
But that's another good classic example of a game that's held up. Donkey Kong Country is still.
I
It
love
still
it.
shows up at parties all the time.
Yeah, it's a great game.
It
All right.
is.
So, anybody else? Anything else to add on that? I mean, I overall, so I think the general consensus is, yeah, games.
I don't ever think there was going to be any argument on that, but
No.
I think it's really interesting to kind of get in the reasons why.
Yeah.
Like,
There's some people who think old games have no worth. I mean, there are people
well,
who
those
think,
people
They're
are
wrong.
dumb.
yes.
Well, you know
They're
what?
usually missing a few teeth right in the front.
Yeah, where did you hear
Yeah, you
that?
went wrong. He went with
Wait
dumb.
a minute, though. Wait a minute,
They're
though.
dumb and wrong.
There is, and some of it's just like advertising a little bit, but I mean, there is a bit of a phenomena. There's a reason there's a new release wall when there were video stores. Oh, there still is one. Their Family Video still exists.
Yes, they do.
You know, but they have a new release wall, and how much time do people spend on the new release wall instead of like the standard collection? And there's probably a bazillion movies they haven't seen in that, so they're all new to them. But they don't bother looking at any of those.
Because they're old.
Because they're old, you know. It's an old movie. I'm not going to go look at an old movie, you know. But
I
it's
actually
new to
seek
you, you know.
Old movies
So-
on Netflix.
Yeah,
No,
thank
no, I
God
understand
for
that.
Netflix
Yeah, I
and
go
their
back
bad
in the
movie
days.
collections.
Oh, they've
So I kind
Yeah.
of think the same thing
Yeah, but
kind of
then they
with
have some
video
good
games or
ones.
games. I mean, if it isn't the thing that's
The latest
being
and
talked
greatest.
about in,
I think that's the younger
magazines.
crowd, though. I would say that probably scales down either to the guy who just got something new for Christmas, older guy who may have gotten a 20-something or a 30-something who just got a game system for Christmas, really wasn't a gamer to start with, or maybe he's just getting into gaming, or a young kid who's 12 or 13.
Yeah, that's where all the friends
Well,
are.
and part of it is you just don't know, which is where, and I'm just gonna throw a shameless plug out here for one of our friends. Retro Game Magazine would come in handy because then they are talking about those games that were popular in 1988 that maybe are still fun now. You know, that maybe you might want to check out.
And
you just don't
and
know.
IGN is another good place to check for those too. So
Uh,
they've got great
Retro
ones.
Magazine's actually pretty good.
Retro Magazine's amazing.
I know we'll probably get some hate because last time we mentioned anything to do with that particular group, we got hate mail. But you know,
From
it's a
them?
labor
Oh
of
no!
Oh no!
Stop mentioning us on your show! God!
Every time.
Drunk jerks in Wisconsin keep
Talk
talking
about our magazine!
stock prices are plummeting.
Stock prices.
We have stock?
Who the hell did
Now
that?
it's plummeting?
Alright.
All right, so Rob, shall we
Okay.
take a break before we come
Yeah,
back?
we're gonna take about a 5-minute break for those of you who are watching us on the YouTubes or listening to us on the whatever the heck that thing is, and all the podcast listeners who are listening to us on Android, which is the vast majority apparently, according to our numbers.
Really?
Yeah,
We got a lot of robots.
I'm kind of
a
surprised
lot of
about that,
robots.
actually, evidently.
A lot of robots out there, you Android boys
I'm good with
and
that.
gals. Sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, and gal.
Well, you're drumming through your day at
Thanks,
work.
Darlene.
Bring us along. That's nice.
Yeah. All right, so we're gonna take a 5-minute break. Those of you on Periscope can watch.
Actually, it could be
whatever
longer.
Crazy
You know
crap
what? I think
goes
I'll
on.
take the camera with us out to the smoking lounge.
I'm Drunken Larry, and you're watching G2B.
Welcome back to the podcast that never sleeps, guys, games, and beer.
I need sleep.
I want to now.
I have a piece of popcorn on my sweater.
I threw it there.
Bastard.
All right, so
Part two.
Rob, what is the second half of the show about?
It is about.
More of the same.
Not really more than no.
It's about.
It's
Yeah,
about Morrissey.
pretty much with us. It's more of the same, but it's Morrissey. We're gonna talk about Morrissey for the second half of the podcast.
Oh, the lead singer of Time?
Sure. I know nothing about Morrissey
no,
except for the word.
That's not Morris
Morris
Day.
Day?
That was Morris Day.
Oh.
You want to talk about Morris dancers?
Hey, you guys gotta close
Morse
it.
code?
I gotta close it down.
Moore's Law?
Oh God! Every 2 years. Continue, please, Rob.
Oh, yeah, we're going to talk about retro games that we have recently discovered. That old game that you have found that's so great that you got to tell the world about it.
So good.
So good. Okay,
So, we're
so
going to start allowing call-ins on Skype.
so with this one being
Really?
Yeah, we should.
No, we
Right
shouldn't,
now.
because 4chan's
Let's
gonna
put
go
the number
nuts.
out there.
Yeah, right?
yeah, but okay, so this could be an old game that you've rediscovered
Yeah,
that you had originally, or possibly an old game that you just picked up and all of a sudden it's like, holy crap, this is really not bad for an old game.
Yeah, I'm going with the latter.
Okay, so am I actually, but continue.
Or is that the former? I can never get those right. The former's the first one, right?
Right.
The
Yes.
ladder. Yeah, the ladder.
All right,
Good, I
the
got that
ladder.
right.
It's the
Thank
later
you.
one.
Thank you for that correction.
Ladder.
All right,
This
so
is like your area of expertise,
all right,
isn't it?
let's start with you, Larry. How about an old game that you found? Have you recently picked up any old games and said, "Hey, wow, I forgot how good this game was," and purchased it or something?
I'm going to go with the latter, or the former now, but
All right,
the latter
something you
before.
had and got again.
The
Simplest. Sorry.
One,
It's
I've
not
gone
really
back.
as bad.
I've
Treat it
gone
well.
back to playing. We were talking all kinds of Amigas, so I was inspired to go back and play some Lemmings.
Ooh,
and
nice.
and it's a fun game. Kind of hard to get now. I have found there is a new version of this game for the PlayStation. What's the handheld one? The
Vita?
Vita.
Yeah.
The Vita has a game?
Yes. And it's free right now if you're.
Hey, all right, the
Plus
Vita
rubber.
market is actually
Yeah.
very popular in Japan. Not
Yes,
here, but
if you have a
But
Vita,
Japan, if you're in Japan.
if you have a
More
Vita
popular than the Xbox.
and you are a plus, you can get this game right now free. You can get Lemmings, and basically the idea of Lemmings, if you don't know anything about it, I you all know the legend of the Lemmings that follow
Run to
each
the
other. They run into the sea, right? So the game is a
Lemmings.
puzzle game, and the Lemmings all start off at the top, and they are basically all running to their death. And your job is to save as many of them as possible by giving a Lemmings a single job. Now, it will do that job till its death. But
Wow, how fun is that? Sounds like real life to me. You'll do that
there
job
are
until
actually,
you're
there
dead.
are a few jobs that they could survive.
you.
Like
Digging.
the diggers can survive the digging
Yeah,
and that, but the crossing guards,
Yeah.
they die. Because
There's no going back from.
they're just
From being
a
that
stopping
guy.
guard.
Yep.
Yeah,
Being a stopping guard is a dead
dynamite.
job.
There's
Yeah, well, yeah. If you're the guy who's got to put a
But
hole
so
in something.
there's all these different job positions that are available to you, and you during the course of the game have to choose a Lemmings and give them a job so that the Lemmings will either go the other way or they'll be redirected in some fashion
To avoid
either,
running to the
either
water.
down or they might run into a pit of fire, or they might run into water, or they might drop from a height that would kill them all. So there's lots of ways to kill Lemmings, and you have to prevent them from as many as they kill you. I think you usually get 100 of them. And the idea is to save as many of them as you can.
Now, and
Yeah.
this is not actually a retro version of Lemmings. I played it. Actually, I have played it. It's one of the few games I played on the Vita.
I think they had like a
it-
3D element to it or
Yeah,
something like
and
that.
it's it feels born for a touchscreen. That is an old game that feels like it was born to be a touchscreen game. It works really well on a touchscreen.
Yeah, you're placing things in certain positions, so I can
Yeah.
see where that would.
Yeah, it's really quite good.
Well, and I don't know if maybe the new game maybe it doesn't do this, but they stream. They're sort of like a stream.
Yeah.
So so there's this like time element that you have to work fast because they are just moving.
Yeah, they're trying to kill themselves. They're really working hard to kill themselves.
and
I mean,
even if
meat
you
grinders.
Even if you
everything.
go like, okay, stop, to make them go the other way, because if you put in a stopping guard, they run into them and then they just go the other direction. Well, when you put a stop, 10 of them might have gotten by you.
By the time, yeah.
By the time you make that decision in that, and they've plummeted to their death,
Great game.
That is
It really
a
was.
fun
And
game.
the original Lemmings was good. So, but again, that's all right. That's a good old game.
It's tough to get like a newer version of it though. It's pretty much if you gonna play it, you gotta go back to like an Amiga ROM or something like that.
Can you get it? I think you
It was
can get it
on
on the
the
iPad
SNES.
too, can't you? It was on the SNES,
Oh,
definitely.
on the SNES. Okay, yeah, I don't remember it on the SNES.
I
Which
got
makes
it.
sense though,
I own it
16-bit
on the
era.
SNES. That's one of like the
So
Yeah.
So that makes sense. So maybe that's one to look for at on your
That Midwest
options
Gaming
then.
Classic.
Yeah.
Not a lot of people know it, so it's a game that was very famous at one time, and not everybody who's into retro gaming's actually heard of it. Only
Oh, but I was big in
Only
the
old
UK.
timers.
Was it originally Signosis?
Signosis.
Yep.
Yeah. One of their
Yeah.
better titles.
Yeah, yeah.
I love Signos.
Again, really big
It's a
over in the
great
UK.
game. Great company.
Very popular there. So Signos is a British company. All right, Travis, how about you?
So I really haven't been like, I was trying to think, like, I'm sure there's a
You
few.
picked up a bunch of old stuff lately.
Yeah, and like I collect a lot of retro stuff, but I've been really getting into the trend of like trying games I put down like a couple of years ago. I might have bought it when it was new or tried it, and it's kind of an interesting trend, and I don't know how exactly I feel about it, but like games that release that are, you know, online functionality or they get patched down the line. For example, I've been huge into playing MechWarrior Online lately. It sucked when it came out. It had a lot of balance issues, didn't play well, and I was like, okay, I didn't really ever want to play it again, and I came back, you know, 3 years later, 2012 to 2015, and it's an entirely different game, and it's a lot of fun. I love playing it all the time now, and like I'm absolutely addicted to it. So it's like, it's kind of weird. Like I'm really trying hard to kind of go back and be like looking at like what I used to play in the past. I'm like, I think this is worth a revisit, and I'm like, it's games I already own, so I don't have to like buy anything new, which is kind of nice. And another one I've been playing a lot, Diablo 3. I bought it when it came out. I think we played for like 3 days straight. We waited in line.
We have hated on that game a bunch.
Yeah, on this show.
On the show.
Yeah. Earlier episodes.
So they've redeemed themselves?
No, I mean, like, obviously they had the new expansion. That's when people kind of started to come back. But I was like, there's a lot of good content. It feels a lot more like Diablo 2. The loot system's a lot better. And it's just like a lot more fun to play.
They took out that market.
Exactly. They took out the real life money market, shit like that. And I went back to it about a week and a half ago after I had another friend who started playing it, and he's been playing it like crazy. And I absolutely love playing it. I probably sunk like 20 hours into it in the past like week or two.
Over it.
So it's again, it's really interesting, and again, it's like it's like it's something that's like I own it. It's sitting on my shelf. I've got the big collector's box sitting on my shelf.
Which that USB drive you need to bring to your work.
Oh no, yeah.
Yes.
Basically, the collector's edition came with a little sculpt. It had Diablo's head, and it has the Soul Stone in his head. It's a USB stick that has Diablo 2 on it.
Nice.
Oh, okay, that is kind of cool.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and there's
every
one of
time-
those things.
I wish we had been
But,
doing YouTube at that
It's
point.
been sitting
'cause
on my
he
shelf.
loved
I know
that when
I
he
know it
got
exists,
Yeah.
but until I saw somebody else playing it, be like, oh yeah, this is a game that I have, and it looks pretty good, and it looks like it's changed. Like until I saw somebody else play it, I was like, holy crap, I own this. Let me give it another try. It was really worth playing. I had a lot of fun. So I played it. I picked up the new expansion for it. I'm absolutely loving it, and it's really interesting to kind of go back and after a game. And again, this really applies mainly to newer games that are updated online, things like that, or changed. And again, it's a mixed bag. I don't necessarily like the fact that when a game comes out, it can suck, and then later it's good. It's really kind of
That's kind of
Yeah,
world
you
of
should've
Steam
made-
now.
yeah, it's a little disjointed. But I mean, the fact is it's nice to be able to say, "Oh, I already own this game. I don't have to spend any more money, and now I'm coming back." And it's actually it's a good game that I really enjoy.
Sometimes it feels like you gotta re-download the game because it's like I've got 8,000 patches to go through.
I have 50 meg internet. It doesn't matter to me. I download games in minutes.
Yeah.
I do
Truly blessed.
encourage shopping in your own store. Sometimes that's a really good idea.
Like, what do you mean?
Or shopping.
Well, exactly what you did.
Oh, just like going through your shelves.
yeah, going through your own.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
That's
know?
the price of Ivory.
Shopping in your own store. Speaking of
price
stores,
of
Rob,
Ivory
how is
bought
your
the
Steam
damn-
store running, Rob?
You know, it's
last time you did
stay at
inventory?
1,000 something.
No, he's just got a bunch of inventory to give to, like each and one of us for like
It's like for
Christmas gift.
eternity.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for like eternity.
I got games for you guys.
How about you, Noob?
Well, I thank you for Forge and Halo, Spartan Assault. I do have those and downloaded.
That game is actually really good.
I know it is.
Yeah.
But like, games that I've
An old game that you would revisit, came back to, purchased again.
Or purchased for the first time. In
Yeah.
well, the first time was like actually with Rob. It was Zombies Revenge
For the Dreamcast.
for the Dreamcast.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was back then when I was like a little kid and stuff like that. I was popping quarters into Zombies Revenge on the arcade machine and stuff like that. Where at the bowling alley in Union Grove, and like me and my buddies like sunk so many quarters into this damn zombie beat 'em up game that we loved so much. And it was only it was like one of the cheaper ones instead of like the racing ones. Well, I was like looking around that one time where we spent like an hour at New Wave.
Yeah, we were there for.
We were there forever, and I was definitely picking it up, and I picked it up again, and it's one of those games where it's just like I have like a huge like nostalgia boner for. Basically, I love the game so much, and like I got my friend Ryan, who me and him both have a love for zombies or any zombie game because we just think it's just stupid fun. And I had him play the game, and he's like, "What the hell is this? This is amazing!" He loved the game so much. I was like, "Oh yeah, it's like a really good 3D zombie beat 'em up game." So when it comes to like games like that, I guess I have like more a nostalgia factor that like.
Yeah, but that's a perfectly good reason to go back to a game.
Mm-hmm.
So
same reason why I still have never beaten Mario 3, but I still go back to the game every once in a while just to beat the damn thing.
I'm gonna find that game.
So you never owned it on the Dreamcast, but you played it a lot in the arcade.
I played it a lot in the arcade.
So was the port on the Dreamcast a good?
I'm
the
going to bet
same
it was a
game.
good port.
It's the same game.
Yeah, it's the same game.
It's almost
actually-
like Dynamite Cop style.
It's literally
It's
like
the
an
same
arcade.
engine.
Best game ever, by the way.
It's literally
There's
just
a
like pretty
second
much
one.
an arcade port of the game.
Nice.
Really quick second interjection. Japanese only. It's called Dynamite Deca 2, which is Dynamite Cop. That's Dynamite Cop, but way more the fuck over the top. Just
Hell no.
fucking ridiculous. I mean,
You're beating people with people?
with swordfish and shit like that. Yeah, no, again, like Dynamite Cop had a really like some weird weapons and stuff. But Dynamite, it's called Dynamite Deca, DEKA, 2.
Oh, Joe and I are gonna play that.
Yeah, it's
we sat through the
it's
played it
Japanese
the first
only.
time.
Is
but
it
you
a-
can
is
play
it a
without
beat 'em up,
non-Japanese.
too?
It's a beat 'em up.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, isn't it like by the same people who made Die Hard, the beat 'em up game too?
But okay, so basically, there's a version of Die Hard. It's called Die Hard Arcade, which became Dynamite Cop because of licensing, regional licensing issues. So Die Hard Arcade and Dynamite Cop, there are versions of it that are pretty much the same game. They just take out the John McClane shit. Yeah.
Dynamite
Yeah, okay, then
Cop
yeah,
is
I
the
totally
best,
played that.
though.
That game was fucking awesome!
Dynamite Cop is like
Especially
the
running
king
through
of
the
games,
halls
in
and it's
my
like,
opinion,
press
but-
kick or jump.
But the second one went out the window with ridiculousness, and I highly recommend
yeah.
you try it. It's hilarious.
All right, New Bat, how about you?
What?
What about me?
Beer? Oh.
Oh wow, she's
Wow, you really haven't listened to anything we've been talking
No,
about,
I
right?
was, but I don't exactly have anything because, like,
What are you talking about? All the games I bought for you and stuff?
well,
Yeah, you bought them.
I've
for her.
talked
She didn't buy
about them,
them.
like, how often, though? Like, everybody
What
knows.
about the games I bought for you on Steam? You've never talked about those ones yet.
Like, what ones? Wolf Among Us?
No.
Yeah, I have.
No, not those ones. Okay.
Alright,
Alright, I bought her Roller Coaster Tycoon.
Oh,
no,
okay.
that's a good
Yeah,
one.
that
That's
was-
one to go back
Okay,
to. All right, okay, well, continue then.
All
Alright.
3 of them.
That
All
was
3.
exciting.
Okay.
That was like a fun game to play, especially like when you would make the roller coasters and stuff. Or you would like take people and you would trap them in line. Even though they didn't want to go to your coaster, you're like, too bad, you're going on my coaster.
No bathrooms,
like,
and you're trapped in
yeah.
line.
No, you
So
don't.
then you like pick
You
them up and you
charge
like
for the
put them in the
bathrooms.
tank.
Yeah. What, really?
So that they're
Kill
forced
them,
to
you
go on
have
the
no
roller
money.
coaster.
You gonna leave me? You gonna leave me?
We didn't get to you yet.
That's it.
We didn't get to you
No,
yet.
I was giving you the fist.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So
No,
what
bend
platform
over.
are
That's
those,
it.
those
Now
are?
you're getting
You
the
got
right.
them on
They got them on
Steam?
the
Yeah,
PC.
we got them
It
on
was on Steam.
But
was
that's
super
the
cheap.
roller coaster tycoon games are a brilliant game.
You could make
Oh,
your
yeah.
own goddamn
My-
roller coasters or death
my-
coasters.
Like, I looked for it, but they didn't have it. I think my favorite ones were the Zoo Tycoon ones.
Oh,
Like, whenever
God,
you
yes.
got to make your own aquariums and stuff like that.
Bullfrog, right?
My brother would actually take
Yeah,
his
Bullfrog Entertainment.
people and feed them to the lions
Of course,
and the sharks.
of course.
Yeah, 'cause they got no money to buy souvenirs. Use the bathrooms
And that it
kill
also cuts the cost down of feeding your animals, so it was great.
There's a really sweet one. It's called Jurassic Park Operation Genesis.
Yep, I've
Oh
seen
yeah, where you
Yeah.
can
You
release
mean
the
Operation
raptors.
Genesis?
Make your own Jurassic Park.
Okay, that's a good one too.
Couldn't you like
Yeah,
release
like,
raptors
those
and
are
shit
PC?
like that?
Where's
too?
that at?
Yeah, they got it on which consoles? I forget exactly.
See,
I
those
just know it
games are-
exists. I heard there's so many people talking about it lately. It's just like one of the ones that people are.
No
jumping back
PC?
to. I'm sure it's on the PC. Let me take a look.
Man with the clicky clicky nerd.
talk.
Yeah.
All right, Ben, you're up.
Fuck if I know, dude. Last game I talked about that I'd like to pick up again.
PC, Xbox, PlayStation 2.
Nice. World Cup for the NES. And
Oh, wow.
What do you know?
solid sports game. But my
Good
oldest brother,
soccer.
is super good at the game. And I'd like to challenge him again because I was a wee tyke playing him, and I was like, all right, dude, you're probably still gonna stomp my face in because you have so many more. Like right away, you were always playing that game. He stomped my face in GoldenEye several times because I was never good at that game. But it was, for me, it's the nostalgia factor of the brother connection of back in the day. Video games brought us together. So that's why I want to get.
Another.
And then I want to do what
nostalgia
Rob does and train for an hour before I play him,
doesn't
so
need
I'm
it.
warmed up. So I can kick his
You know,
ass.
you know what's so funny about that? So my dad recently went to a pool hall with his buddy and played like, I don't know, 3 hours of pool. And it was just, his buddy wanted to train because his brother was coming into town. And he always beats him at pool. Yeah.
That's
game. I'm gonna get my revenge.
Perfectly good reason.
Yeah.
And
Unfortunately, it didn't work. He
his brother kicked his ass
lost
anyways.
12 of 12. So
Couldn't even get a lucky break.
couldn't even get a lucky break.
That is sad.
Yeah, it seems like we all had that
Aw.
revenge
So I'm
story.
gonna break the genre a little bit. I'm gonna go back to old
Yeah.
school board games. It's really not it's a board game per se. We did and what kind of got my issue going on this again is we've talked about games where you play against the board. And I remember an old one, and we talked about, well, was this really one when you play against the board? And yeah, definitely qualified. So we talked about it on the show. You know, oh damn, I need a copy of that again. So I did a little hunting around and found a copy of it. Careful, this is not in good condition.
You wanted just the top box?
You can
The whole box?
you can take the whole box by the camera and show them the whole box.
Two
So
cameras, buddy. Two
You get it
cameras.
first, guys.
wow, you're gonna show the parent? Yeah, because they're actually watching us live. The Dark Tower was a game that came out in 81, 82.
Something cool.
But it was basically at the height of the Dungeons and Dragons craze. And it has a great feel. But better yet, it's a solid board game. It's a really good piece of board game. Okay, bring that back over here.
You're scared now.
Yeah, I am
Touching
actually.
it.
It's you are touching it. Don't touch the damn game. I haven't had a
Don't
chance-
touch my Dark Tower.
I have not had a chance to fix the box up yet. It's split and it needs a little work. But after a little bit of work, I actually bought this. This was an early computerized game. Go ahead and bring that up. Show it on the camera. It's just a good, solid playing game. If you like your basic adventure game, you're wandering around the board trying to collect up keys to get into the Dark Tower to defeat the wizard, and you start out with a group of warriors, but the tower does all the work for you. So basically, it does all your scoring, it does all your moves. You just basically tell it what you're doing on the board.
Did you get a sense that now you said you didn't play it back in the day,
No.
but did you get a sense if you sat down as an adult you would get a kick out of it?
Oh no, dude. We are going to have a Let's Play on this because you will get a kick out of it. It's just a great game to play.
Never seen anything like it, that's for sure.
Well, the reason I ask is I have crossbows and catapults.
Yeah.
About the same time
Yeah.
period. Love the game.
Played that
at
one
so
too.
many levels. But I just don't feel like I could grab another adult and go, let's play crossbows and catapults.
Oh no, this one you can grab a room full
That'll
of
be our
adults
split
and
show.
play the crap out of it. Believe me, it plays great. It's just a good, solid game. And again, part of it was the cleverness they did on the artwork and everything. I mean, so this is pre-LCD days. This is LED technology. So to get the displays going for the characters, what they did is they used the little lit windows, and it lights up. Oh gosh, nothing has happened yet. Let me see if I can have an attack here.
There's one blinking.
Yeah, it was telling me I'm doing moves and nothing. I've had no encounters. There's an encounter.
Oh, that's awesome!
And
That's full color.
yeah, exactly. So to do it, they had these little.
So-
it's basically got a big wheel. And
So it's
turning
basically
around.
they show you stained glass windows.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. But the artwork is very cool. It was it's very whoever the artist was fairly decent. They did other art for Mattel at the same time. There's just all sorts of cool stuff. Let's see. Let's go to the bazaar.
And real action sounds.
And again, you love those 80s sounds.
Oh, I missed that.
All right, so he's offering me warriors for 7. I'm going to haggle because I don't want to buy them for 7. 6. What do you think? 6? Or should I haggle one more time?
Haggle again!
Haggle again! Oh, heck, I'm down to 5. Okay,
Yeah,
I'm going
better
to buy
buy
some
it.
warriors. 1,
Will they tell you, go
2,
screw yourself?
3,
Pay me
4.
9.
Oh yeah, they will. They'll just close the bazaar. It says bazaar closed, and you're done. All right, and we'll go. That's it. I'll take 4 warriors,
That was the FU.
and now I got 3 gold.
Bizarre.
But it was really a very cool game. It's basically early computerized games. It's vintage 80s. Really kind of hard to find.
Well, and I will
the
preface.
Android.
I have looked for different board games on eBay and stuff like that. All board games can be pricey.
They
can be pricey.
You know, that is the issue. They really can get pricey, and
Well,
so
is it pricey because it's like this is in mint condition? If it's
No.
in like
No.
rare condition,
No,
it doesn't just like it tears down very quickly.
no,
Like,
it's
nah, man, this is like $20. This thing is ratchet.
no.
If
that's-
it's in all playable, it's pretty expensive.
exactly,
That
the price shoots up as long as everything's there. The price shoots right the heck up.
Yeah.
So they
Vanna White time.
This one I bought this
Go,
one
Vanna.
non-working. I got it sub 100 non-working. So I had to repair it and everything. But that's still when I say sub 100, I mean just a little bit below 100 non-working.
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 Yeah.
That being said, if you've got one of these in really good condition, $500. So
Right.
yeah, you ain't kidding. The board games go
So you just have like a $500 game sitting there.
up to 500. This one's not worth 500. The box is not in good shape, but it's worth about 250 to 3-ish.
So you
Now that it's
No,
working.
see, it's
Now
not
it's
really
working, I
worth
know.
that. It's
Yeah, I know.
what people are willing to pay for.
That's what
People
makes
are
it
willing to pay
worth that.
worth that much because they are.
But only at that moment. It's at the
Yeah.
moment of the sale, then it's worth this much.
Yeah, and it could go down. I mean,
The registration card actually goes to like a person.
this is vintage 80s. So,
Contact Bill.
no, it's got what was
Yeah,
it?
Gene Lewis.
Gene Lewis
Let's go right, Gene
at
Lewis.
Milton Bradley. So yeah, so that's the cool thing. Personal thanks from Milton Bradley for trying our product. Now, if
Who
you
thinks
like it or
Gene Lewis
dislike
is
it,
even
tell us
alive?
about it. Probably not. But yeah, like you said, the cool thing is that it's actually.
He was an intern. Got a lot of hate
Well,
on
in that
hate.
case, Gene Lewis is
Thumbs
probably
up on
alive.
MySpace. No.
and probably watching right now.
Yeah.
On Periscope.
But again, a very cool piece of kit. And that
Maybe
was,
I'll get
so that was one again we talked about, and I thought, God, that really was. And went out and found a copy of it and got it up and going and got it running again. And we will.
And
again,
still fun.
it really is. The game plays because the tower does all the work for you, and you're just moving around the board, and it keeps all your stats and scores, how much food you have, what you can carry, the whole 9 yards. So the computer's doing all that computation for you, and you're just kind of going through the game, and that was kind of nice. Okay, so it's a kind of a loosely D&D based game because again, this was during the height of the D&D craze.
It looks like a D&D.
Oh no, it was very intentionally. I mean,
Is it?
Very
Is
ripped up.
and now you've run through. Are you trying to basically? You're on the outside and you're trying to get
into the tower.
into the
You
tower.
have to get the right
I think
keys, the
there
right
is
combination.
a re-envisioning of this game, but without the tower.
I'm
And
really surprised.
I know. I'm pretty sure I played it recently, and it's like a newer game, but without the tower. But I think the tower adds to the charm.
Oh, the tower is the game in this one. All right, how about
It's
you,
Dark
Rob?
Tower.
It is the Dark Tower.
All right, I'm gonna go back to early PC gaming. It's a game I've been playing for a couple weeks now, called Arctic Adventure. It's by Apogee. It was during their platformer stage, so it is indeed just a right. Yeah, the same people that did Duke Nukem. Yep, and became 3D Realms later on. This is just your basic platformer. It's actually a sequel to an earlier game whose name escapes me right now, but that was
Oh, it's Escape Me.
yeah, it's called Escape Me. But it is basically a very basic platformer. It's not a Mario-based platformer. It's kind of more old school than that because of the.
What's more
Yeah,
old
no, you
school
can
than
steer the
Mario?
jump.
Oh, pretty much everything.
Oh yeah, there's old school. Yeah, there's pre-controlling your jumps games. This is not, however. It moves slower like older games do. Not as fast as Mario does.
Like
or as slick.
Pitfall.
But you basically start out. You've actually got a map, a top map, and every you go in.
like Keystone Cop.
Yeah, exactly.
Keystone
But
Cop.
yeah, and then you
So
basically
you know where the bad guys are.
you go into one of your little Arctic caverns, and each one of those is kind of a platform puzzler where you pick up gold and treasures, and you basically try to escape the level. It is a devilish game, though. Mother effer. They must have spent a lot of time on those levels just making the biggest bastard of a game ever. In fact, I've got a video where I just fast
I call
forward
that bad.
20 minutes of play because it's nothing but me dying and swearing.
Wow.
I'm gonna say that Rob's super pissed because he said mother effer.
Yeah, he did actually.
Or MFer or whatever he did, but he shorthanded it. He's
Yeah.
mad at that game. And I'm not even gonna give you the rights of curses.
But anyway, this game is CGA. Absolutely no sound card required. It didn't have a sound card. It's
CGA.
obviously you can get it on Steam.
CGA.
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 Not VGA.
Not VGA,
No.
not EGA.
Color
CGA.
graphics adapter.
What about
4 colors for you kids out there. 4 colors
wow.
to this game.
black?
It's out of a palette of 16 though, guys. So it's not like
yeah.
we're not savages here. But yeah, that game is it's really good. You know, honestly, for it really explains why Apogee ended up doing so well as a game company because it's got good controls. It's difficult, not too difficult. It's it's that old chapter format where there's like 4 different chapters of it. Obviously, the first one's freeware, and then the other 4 you buy. It's available on Steam
Really?
at this time. It's
Wait.
through DOSBox.
Oh,
It
nice.
wasn't its original format.
No,
That's its format now.
yeah.
Yeah, but no.
Its original format
no,
was on a floppy or downloaded
No,
by
I mean,
BBS.
you bought the whole game, and you didn't buy chapters.
No, you didn't.
back
No,
then.
you could buy. You'd buy the
Original.
You would get the first chapter for free, and then you buy the other chapters.
Like in a demo disc?
Sure, it used to happen all the time in the late '80s, early '90s. That was a
What
thing.
But it's
was it
interesting
have
because they
the full
threw
chapters
DOSBox,
set
so
up already, or was it let's see how many people grab this and then
No, it was
have
all.
all 4 chapters?
It was
done?
ready to take your money.
yeah, I suspect they were ready. Yeah,
Like,
I
So
don't know.
that model's pretty old.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
Doom did
yeah.
that.
Yeah,
It was one of the most famous of it. In fact, that Doom itself overloaded their BBS.
right. Originally, when they first started,
Yeah, it just
I
brought it
remember.
to a
I
crowd.
remember when that game first became.
Well, that was one of
popular.
the first internet
So you only
downloadable
had
games too, and it brought the
you
internet
got
to
the
a
first
crowd.
level, and then
See,
the
no, I
one more?
didn't
And you got
jump
the
on
first
Doom right
game
away.
play, but
Yeah, it was like you get like a
Chapters.
chap. Yeah, like
Yeah.
Chapters.
I thought immediately I thought of like Duke Nukem the side scroller. It was like Apogee did it like.
It's actually around the same time
yeah,
period.
yeah.
Yeah, did a ton.
Except
of those.
except Duke Nukem was EGA, which was a much far superior. All of them were inferior to a
Oh.
Commodore 64 that was
What
like
about the A?
10 years older,
The
but
old one?
whatever.
Right.
Yeah,
All right,
so
so
excellent
how
game.
good.
PC sucked in the
Good call.
80s.
It
Yeah.
did. It really did.
And early
and the
90s.
early 90s. It wasn't until 95.
95.
But think
It
about
wasn't
this.
until 95.
1992, CGA was competing with an Amiga and was like twice the price.
Yeah. Yeah.
How
Yeah.
did they win? I ask myself constantly.
It's called. No,
Oh, mismanagement.
yeah. And the fact that
They were
IBM
piss poor at the
couldn't
game
protect their
Stratejo.
patents
Yeah.
that they lost in court, and all the clones were able to produce endless amounts of those systems.
Oddly
So
enough,
what
that,
you're saying is
that
there
actually
was a
helped
Clone
them.
War?
There
know?
was
Oh,
a
yeah.
Clone War.
Yeah, there was.
Did the Jedi return?
The Clone Wars. I know. Unfortunately, the Jedi's did not return. The clones won.
The clones won.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're living in a Sith world.
Yes.
Yes.
Welcome to
yes,
Sith
we
Future.
are. All right, so Rob, I suppose that pretty well wraps this episode of G2BO.
It does
So you
indeed
might wanna
wrap
take us
this
out.
episode up. For those of you watching on YouTube's and listening to the podcast, thank you very much for listening. For those of you on
Click
Periscope,
subscribe if you're on YouTube. Click subscribe. We are only like 10.
Shameless subscribe.
We are like 10 people away from getting our own URL on YouTube.
Ooh.
Yeah.
We're gonna get.
So-
we already have our
so,
own.
by the
but
way-
still, we do.
Do we?
Yeah, if you just go / Guys Games and Beer, you get there.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Sorry about that.
Oh, never mind. See?
We're 10 away
sounds
from
dumb
the movie
now.
theater, though.
Okay, well, 10 away from the movie theater, so we
Yeah,
should
movie
get
theater size.
10 more.
Yep. Yeah. So check us out on YouTube.
There's no downside.
There is no downside because we're so damn pretty.
We are pretty.
And even if you don't like us, there's still no downside.
Subscribe. For the love of God.
Send us some hate mail.
Sometimes
Okay.
you see Rob's crotch.
Stuff is
fact-
going.
In fact, subscribe gives you the right to send us hate mail.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
And beer.
No beer.
Yeah. Those of you, thank you very much for watching on Periscope. I noticed we have a few more listeners today on Periscope.
Second week doing
Thank you.
this.
So thanks for watching us live. We will be back next week, Tuesday at 6 p.m. Central Time. Same
Central
bat
America.
time, same bat channel. Don't forget to check us out on Facebook where we've got just scads of Facebook friends. www.facebook.com/guysgamesandbeer for your chance to win free games on a pretty consistent basis. We do weird news stories, things that are going on in the G2B universe. Yes, we have an entire universe now because Nintendo
seven
sued
whole
us for
universes.
World. Fuckers.
They got their hands on
I'd rather have
Don't-
the universe.
Oh, the
anyways.
universe, yeah.
Check us out on Twitter. That is @GuysGamesBeer. And of course, check us out on our website,
And check us out now on Periscope.
Yes, and if you have questions, don't forget, ask at Guys, Games, and Beer. We might read your stuff on the air. Next week, we will probably have Skype online during the podcast so you can maybe chat with us online.
Weird foot
So
stuff
get your
again.
swear words ready.
No weird foot stuff.
Oh, yeah, please, no weird food stuff. That's
Foot
good
stuff.
Yeah,
Foot
not-
stuff.
Yeah, the foot
Tiny
stuff.
naked man
Oh,
stuff.
yeah.
Yeah, and no, if what happens when you shrink, none of that stuff, okay?
You are the best listeners ever, however. Thanks for watching Guys, Games, and Beer. Catch you next week.
Yeah!